I'm on a journey to take my product photography from drab to dreamy. My product photos right now are bland, uncreative, and uninspiring, mostly shot on a plain white background for the sake of practicality. The white background is fine for showing a product plain and clearly, but it just doesn't compare when stacked up against photos from shops that are similar to mine. It makes my products feel more plain. But all of that is about to change, and I'm gonna take you on this journey with me so we can learn together. So here's the plan. Step 1, learn everything that I can about product photography and styling. Step 2, gather inspiration. Step 3, buy materials. Step 4, DIY anything that I can't just buy. Step 5, put it all together and take the shots. I'm starting out with a relatively decent understanding of photography. I know how to work the camera, and I know how to manipulate the aperture, shutter speed, and ISO to achieve a well-lit shot. There's always some room for improvement still, but I have a good base to work from. If you're brand new to photography, learning the exposure triangle and then practicing until you have well-lit shots that are in focus and not blurry is where I would start. Personally, I want to learn more about product photography composition and styling. How to set up a compelling backdrop and style the product so that it stays the central focus of the image and isn't competing with the other elements while still creating an interesting and appealing shot for product listings and promotional materials. For this, I turned to YouTube and Skillshare because I'm more of a visual learner. This video is not sponsored, I just thought that might be important to mention after invoking the name of Skillshare. I'll be putting links to everything that I watched in the description, but here are some of the most valuable videos that I watched. Mastering the Product Photo Shoot Workflow, a step-by-step guide to styling stunning shots by Rose Nene, as well as her Skillshare class, Product Photography, a Beginner's Guide to Props and Styling. Transform Your Product Photography with Props, Top 3 Tips by Chris Pieta, Props for Product Photography and Where to Find Them, Product and Cosmetics Photography at Home by Vera Change, Product Photography, 5 Years Experience in 8 Minutes, All the Basics You Need by Evan Ranft, 10 Tips for Better Product Photography by Mango Street, Instagram Photography for Product-Based Business Owners by Prachi Singh, and lastly, Product Styling for a Higher Revenue and also Make Your Products Stand Out, the Do's and Don'ts of Product Styling by Marianne Crone. That last one I did find especially valuable. The main takeaways from what I learned that I will be aiming to implement in my photography are to use compositional techniques like diagonal and triangular compositions to add a dynamic element, to remember the rule of odds for balanced shots, create layers, and to implement the product's colors in each shot. For inspiration, I turned to Pinterest. My store, Glitchberry, has a dreamy pastel vaporwave aesthetic, something which I've had a hard time finding examples of product in my niche of collectible and lifestyle goods. However, I have seen a lot of this type of product styling in cosmetics and fashion. So a lot of my inspiration that I saved to my Pinterest board includes photos featuring makeup, skincare, and fashion accessories. The type of product being photographed matters far less than the inspiration that I can take from the photo and the backdrop. There is always something to be learned by looking outside of your niche. I was able to find some good photographs of products similar to what I do sell, and that helped me learn some ways to style these products to set up more of a lifestyle shot. For instance, the scrunchies that I sell can be paired with hair clips, makeup, or other getting ready type accessories to provide a glimpse of what kind of person might own this scrunchie. This sort of shot helps a potential buyer imagine themselves in that scenario, which is something that my current product photography with its plain white backdrops completely lacks, so that's definitely an element that I want to bring in. A lot of common themes I've seen in product photos that I've taken inspiration from are cool-toned and pastel colors, iridescent and chrome textures or mirrors, and using lighting in interesting ways. All of these help establish that cool retro vaporwave style aesthetic. Now that I know what kind of shots I want to achieve, it's time to find props. Before going to the store, I did a bit of shopping around my own home. Some things that I already own, like some of my jewelry and some cute makeup, can add to the lifestyle shots. I also have this rainbow set of washi tapes that got old, so I can't really use it anymore because it kind of sticks to itself and falls apart, but it still looks cute, and it could be a good prop for some of my stationery items like sticky notes. Okay, so coming as a surprise to absolutely nobody, I am very awkward and shy trying to vlog in public, so in lieu of that, I'm just gonna show you what I got. So from Target, I picked up this hair clip because it is neat and iridescent and would go well with both the aesthetic of my product and also the lifestyle aspect of styling it with the scrunchies. In the same vein, I got these cute star-shaped hair clips because I thought they were kind of cute and retro, but also not overly childish. Okay, well, since it just fell out of my bag, I think that's a sign. I got these binder clips that come in cute primary colors to style with stationery items. I like the variety of sizes that they come in because I can utilize one or more different sizes depending on what product I'm photographing and also how well it fits into the composition. Last thing from Target, and also for stationery type items, I got this bundle of really cute colored paper clips. They're just paper clips, but they're cute colors. These also come in a pretty wide variety of sizes, so that's also good. I think these large ones are going to be especially useful because they'll stand out a bit more. From the craft store that shan't be named, but is the only one in my area, so I couldn't go to, you know, Michael's or something. The first thing that I picked up was this iridescent fabric vinyl. I don't know what this is, but like, that's gonna be a nice vaporwavy backdrop. It's a little bit, it might be a little bit too much, but I think the colors are subtle enough. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll look cool. I also picked up this piece of glitter holographic paper. I don't know if I'll use this, but it was only like $1, so may as well. I picked up these two mirrors, one circular and one square, and these can go on the bottom, almost like a floor element. I've seen a couple photos that look really cool with like a mirror on the floor, so I'm gonna play around with that. I picked up some star and smiley face beads. These might be just like a cute little miniature prop element to like scatter in a shot. I think these might be bordering a little bit too childish, but we'll see. Plus they were half off, so I was like, you know what? Why not? A few last things that I picked up from Amazon. One of them has not arrived yet, but it is a clear ornament holder. I saw a photo of somebody using this to hang their keychains from in their product photography, and I thought that was a really clever idea, because since it's basically just a clear stand with a little hook on it, it really fades into the background. It doesn't stand out a whole lot, but it lets you hang your keychains instead of just laying them on the table, which gives a more dynamic element. It lets you play a bit with depth of field and lets you have a different perspective on the keychain than a flat top-down shot. And the other thing that I ordered off of Amazon is this set of decorative sunglasses. Now these feel like they would fall apart at any slight mistreatment. However, these are not for me to wear. These are for me to style in the background of shots. If I were ever so inclined, I could also use these as accessories in a fashion shoot, because I do make apparel. This set comes with a ton of different colors and varieties, so I don't think I'm gonna have a problem picking out a specific pair to match with a particular shot. The last few things are for a DIY. So I got a bunch of these 1-inch mirror tiles. There was one photo that I saved that had this like tiled mirror backdrop, and I thought it looked really friggin' cool, so I'm gonna try to emulate that and make it myself with these. And then the last thing that I got is this white fabric and some Velcro, because I want to make a second photo light diffuser for my light box, except this one I want to have a hole in the middle so I can stick my camera's lens through it. I'll show you what I mean. So this is my photo light box, and it's great, except for the part where you can see every single LED in the lighting element above, which is where normally this would come in. Now this is a diffuser that attaches to the top like this,
And with that there, the product is much more well lit. You can still sometimes see a little bit of a glare, but it's not nearly as egregious. The problem is that with the diffuser in place, that makes this top hole inaccessible, which is what this fabric and Velcro is for. My plan is basically to take this, cut a hole where the middle, where the lens would be, so that I can stick my camera through the hole in order to still have the diffuser in place to block the lights, but also have a hole so that the camera can basically see through the diffuser. Okay, so I didn't film sewing this last part because it got kind of fiddly with the way that I had to fold this over, but now we have an expandable elastic circle that I can put around the camera lens. Like that. So now this can go up top, and when I want to use this in top-down mode, I can just stick the lens. And now I can see the product even when I'm using the diffuser. Okay, well, I either forgot to press record or the video just didn't save at all, which is so utterly cool. But I finished this mirror backdrop. I hope this ends up working out well in a background. Otherwise, that was like several hours of time.
I have some large format photo paper that I bought for a different project that I want to use to create some patterned backdrops. I'm using Affinity Designer to create a grid pattern and repeating it to create this tiled look. I don't think this detail actually printed, but I did give the tiles sort of highlights and shadows to make them look more 3D, but I can't say that detail came across in the end. I also took this grid render that I use in a lot of my branding to make a backdrop out of that, and then I printed all of these on my home printer. Now it is time to take everything that we learned as well as the background and props that we made and bought and set up some shots. I'm using my Canon EOS M50 to take these photos as well as this photo light box to establish good even lighting. But if you're just starting out, I have a video from a few years ago on how I take product photos using just my phone and natural light. Most phones these days have cameras that are high def enough to capture great product photos, so don't feel like you absolutely need a camera like this one in order to take product photos. You can just use a smartphone. The piece of iridescent fabric I bought ended up being the keystone piece in the majority of my shoots. Even if you don't see it a lot, such as in shots like this, it adds more visual interest than a plain backdrop would in that spot. I also rediscovered these fluffy multicolored mini rugs I bought a while ago, and I had kind of written them off as being like too much for use as a photo backdrop, but when styled with the rest of the elements in these shots, they added a textural component that increased visual interest. For more side-on shots, I was able to utilize the circular mirror. This let me reflect some more of that iridescent fabric backdrop, and added a chrome element to bring in some Vaporwave or Y2K vibes. This was less useful in top-down shots, where it would simply reflect the camera. So for those, I switched out the mirror for this miniature Lazy Susan that I've had lying around for like a year, which acted as a simple raised platform to create layers in my shots. As for the tiled mirror backdrop, that ended up being somewhat less useful, but I found a few creative uses for it, and I think if I continue practicing, I can find more. The final secret step that I forgot to mention earlier was asking for feedback and continuing to improve. I posted my photos in some of the artist discords that I'm part of and asked if anybody had any improvements that they could think of. And that is how I went from this, where the glasses are too much of a central focus instead of the scrunchie, to this, which is good but kind of lost the shape of the scrunchie because it was laying too flat, to this final shot, which is what I ended up using for my listing photos and promo posts. I have my own Discord linked down below, and it has channels where you can share your work and ask for feedback. Having somewhere to ask for an outside opinion is so helpful because you don't always see all of the mistakes that you've made when you've been staring at something for hours. Sometimes it takes a set of fresh eyes or somebody with a little bit more expertise than you to point out things that you could be doing better. And always, it's important to take that feedback in stride so long as it's relevant, and try again with new and improved ideas. So there we have it. In just over a week, I've gone from this plain white background to this styled photo shoot. What do you think? Did I achieve the dreamy, pastel, vaporwavy product styling that I was aiming for? I hope coming along on this journey with me has been helpful. I'm working on a video all about product manufacturing, so if you'd like to know how I made these scrunchies or these compact mirrors, as well as many other types of products, make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss out on that video in the future. And if you're in need of product ideas, check out this video that I made on more than 60 of them for your art business. Until next time, stay weird.